Good day, third year students. We have already done one poem titled as Christabel by S.T. Coleridge. Today we will begin with another poem related to your syllabus by the same poet, and the poem is Kubla Khan. Full title is Kubla Khan or A Vision in a Dream, a Fragment. In this session, we will have a brief background, and also we will get to know what the poem is all about. Kubla Khan or A Vision in a Dream, a Fragment is one of those three poems that contributed a lot in Coleridge's fame as a poet, the other two being The Ancient Mariner and Christabel. This poem, Kubla Khan, was written in 1797 and it got published in 1816. It was published at the request of Lord Byron, who was a fellow poet and a friend of Coleridge. And there is an interesting story behind the composition of this poem. As it is mentioned in Coleridge's preface to Kubla Khan, the poem has its origin in a dream which Coleridge had dreamt in a sleep after taking opium. Before falling asleep, he was reading a book describing Xanadu, the summer palace by Mongol ruler and emperor of China, Kublai Khan. The book's name was Purchas Pilgrimage by Samuel Purchas, and this is a book of travels. So the whole poem came to Coleridge in a dream, and after waking up, he began to write the lines of the poem hastily. He would complete only 54 lines and then he was interrupted by a visitor. So the rest of the poem slipped out of his mind, and the present poem is a fragment. Fragment means a small part, because the original poem that came to the poet's mind while dreaming had around 200 to 300 lines. But as he was interrupted in his creative process, so he could write only 54 lines and he forgot the rest of the lines. He left it unpublished and kept it for private readings for his friends until 1816 when it was published. But even in its fragmented form, the poem is a masterpiece by Coleridge. It is a pure product of romantic imagination, and not just imagination, a product of dream-soaked imagination. And the poem in its form and structure does not have any rational viewpoint or logical consistency. As the poem originated from a dream, so the vivid images and scenes of this poem are not also linked logically. They come one after the other as it happens in dreams. And if we talk about its structure, the poem is divided into two parts with 4 stanzas. In the first part, there is a record of the vision or dream, and it tells Kubla Khan, the great oriental king, orders a magnificent palace to be built near the holy river named as Elf. And this is a river that runs across the land and then flows through some underground caves and then into the sea. He also tells us about the fertile land that surrounds the palace, and the whole area is covered in streams, sweet smelling trees, and beautiful forests. Then he makes this place into a haunted place where one might find a woman wailing for her demon lover. And amid all these, Kubla Khan is listening to war prophecies. In the second part, Coleridge talks about another vision. Once a time in his vision, he saw an Abyssinian girl playing upon her dulcimer. Dulcimer is a sort of musical instrument, and the poet desires to recreate in his imagination the sweet melody of the song of that maid. And if he could do this, he would build the dome of Kubla Khan. He would build that dome in the air. And the poem ends with the image of a terrifying figure with flashing eyes, a superhuman being who has fed on honeydew and drunk the milk of paradise. And throughout the whole poem, a note of mystery and wonder runs. The images and expressions in this poem create an atmosphere of mystery and terror. We have already talked about main features of Coleridge's poetry in previous classes, like medievalism, supernaturalism, a dreamlike quality, sensuous imagery, sweet music, rich imagination, and so on and so forth. And we do find all these features reflected in this particular poem. So, students, that's all for the brief introduction and background to the poem. In the next class, I will take up detailed explanation of the poem. Thank you.